I'm Schowenderwort, and I offered a game called Lean Workflow Design Game. And the thing about this game is it demonstrates a lot of things. Leadership, how it shifts around in between members of a group. It also demonstrates decision making in a team and how people decide whose idea they want to act upon. And it's all in a framework of having a simple task and a simple goal. And in this game, the task is sorting playing cards, and the goal is to do this as quickly as possible. And in the second run, I let them know what the record is for them to try to beat. But in the first run, I just want them to focus on the task, and so that's what we did with the first run. In this particular game, it was a little bit unusual because the team was around 2 round tables. And the tables seemed to get in the way of the action a little bit, the team was noticing. But they did a pretty good record. I noted it down as 1 minute and 15 seconds. And they were very pleased about that. Then I let them know the world record so far for teams doing this sorting exercise, which was 26 seconds. So that kind of burst their bubble a little bit and made them confused and wondering what they should try. They decided to just work harder using pretty much the same job roles that they defined. So they went ahead and did another play, but they were noticing that the space between the tables, well, where the tables touch, was kind of a place where cards could get lost. And so they were asking about that. Somebody even suggested using a long table. That had been done by other teams, mostly, and worked pretty well, but we just didn't have that available. So what the team did was they made a decision to try using the floor, and a couple people even tested that to see if the cards would slide around on the carpeting. And they all decided they would do it as a floor exercise. But the interesting thing that they said later is that even when they shifted to that play, they viewed themselves as 2 different teams, the original teams that were around each table. I thought that was an interesting aspect of the game. So they went through and they did altogether, I think, 6 runs. I had some notes here. And they were able to get their time down to around 1 minute. And so they didn't quite approach the record. But anyway, the whole point of this game is for people to self-organize, make decisions as a group, and see how that plays out. And you could see one of the commentators, we had some observers for this game, and one of the observers, he said he noticed the team gelling from one iteration to the next of doing the game. You know, how people were settling certain rules among themselves and neighbors to not interfere with each other. So that's also part of it. Which run, and we're going to say time, and whether there were any errors. Okay, and so with run number 1, now I do have some things I'll mention in, well, you know what, I'm going to, yeah, you're done. Will I? Because you'll be off the busy.
So just to clarify, does it matter what suit order the name stacks are?
Yes.
Yes. Does it matter what suit order?
Spade,
Oh,
club,
you just
club,
spade piles.
No,
No,
that's
spade,
suit.
club.
No, she said.
Well, they're all the same suits.
Right. The stacks have to be in the same suit.
Yes.
But
I know.
the
Stack has
suits,
to
do
be
they
black.
have to be stacked in any specific
She said
configuration?
spade, club.
No,
Cards,
she said they have to be by.
She didn't say. No, she drew it up there, but she didn't. He's right. He's right.
Right. But how do the stacks have to be?
In what order are
Oh, the
the 8
stacks?
stacks?
I'm not fussy about that.
Okay.
So here's,
Thank you.
And
this would be your 8 stacks. Ace to king,
Right. Okay. But so it's not like you have
4
to have.
these.
Hands don't need to be before
He was
diamonds.
just
No,
asking.
no,
Very
no,
good.
as long as there's 8 clear stacks, we can quickly look at them and see that there's no mistakes.
And do
Okay.
the stacks have to be arranged in a specific
No, I'm not that English.
Okay.
Not that crazy about it. Not that crazy.
clarifying.
Just want 8 piles as long as there's no mistakes. They're in number order. Right? So if you're giving to me with the ace at the bottom and numerically, no, they're a straight, right?
Yeah.
Green card straight. That's it. So the job itself is very straightforward. The craziness is going to get into times. Okay? So I think the best thing to do is just do a run right away, and then that'll shake out your best questions.
Before we have a plan set?
Yeah, Well, why don't,
3-minute planning session?
yeah, you're gonna get your 3-minute planning session while I monkey around shuffling cards, okay? Because these decks are all sorted from last time.
Okay, let's come together. Sorry, we're gonna face. Yeah, maybe it's 3 minutes.
So we have 3 minutes to talk about how we're going to do this.
And once everyone's done. All right, then we have the red table, the black table, diamonds, hearts, spades.
I think we'll split it up as two equal stacks. So one person in the middle will start all black
And black.
and red will
No, black.
Why one person?
2 persons. One person part here. So black comes to us four people. Right? We're going to have 8 stacks at the end, so why don't we have 8 people collecting the cards?
Yeah, but the thing is, there's only four suits, and we won't know within the one suit. There will be 2 stacks eventually, but when we're getting the unsorted cards, we don't know that. So the 2 of you will sort out.
We will be challenged with too many hands in the pile.
Sort of
No, we're
between
gonna
red and
create
or
4.
sort of between red and black.
Yeah, so you're just gonna create 4 stacks. Each 4 of us will go red this way, black this way,
Yep.
and then you guys.
The second sort team.
And then
is
the second sort team that goes.
So
Right.
Yeah.
So
probably
probably
three of us will actually put it in order.
Put it in order.
Coordinate the spades. 3 of you guys
So we're
coordinate.
sorted.
So somebody needs to
One
sort the
person
black.
in the middle to go for spades.
Sure.
So there's now 13 people.
Wait, there's 13 people.
Now there are 13.
I can do either way.
Who's our?
So are we we're logistically, we're gonna start here and you're gonna go black and red, so you two are.
Black, red,
Okay,
okay.
so you two, I'm sorry, Michael, is that your name?
Yeah.
Michael and Silvano will do the initial, and then the next 2 people will sort the.
You're halfway through your 3 minutes. Nice.
So maybe someone else.
Four color sorters. Someone over here wants to feed red fast.
Did you guys hear what Michael just said? Michael had a good idea, I think.
So we're gonna have 4 color sorters. So
Should have one meeting.
One person.
Hold on, listen. Michael had a good idea, let's discuss it real quick. So we'll have 4 sorters, not 2 sorters, right from the get-go. As soon as they're done, then they can join the other
Yes.
4 sorters. So we have 4, 4, and 4.
So we're either uneven. Wait. So you want to be a color sorter, then?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll have 4 pieces.
Yeah, spades.
Right, because we have 4 color
Red and
sorters.
black.
Okay, 4 red, black, 4 red, 4 black.
Right, that's over here.
So
And
we're
then
diamonds
the
and
color
hearts.
sorters, as soon as we're done, we can possibly.
Then you can join us and see, and
And when-
say what can we help with.
What am I to do?
You're a color sorter.
Yes.
Color sorter.
I'm not gonna. What do I do?
Color sorter.
Okay.
Color sorter.
You
have
throw
30
red this
seconds
way,
left.
black that way.
And when we're done,
How much
we
time?
have to decide when we're done. What is the signal for
Yeah.
done?
Who's doing the clubs and spades?
You too.
Me too.
Okay.
No,
No, those
Yeah,
two.
you're a color sorter.
Okay.
You're the color sorter.
So we're doing.
How much time?
10 seconds left.
When we're done, is everybody do thumbs up for done?
Okay, read the thumbs.
Everybody, thumbs up for
Thumbs
done?
up. So it's
5
everybody.
seconds.
Okay. All right.
We're ready.
We're ready.
Ready?
All right, that's it. 3 minutes is up.
3 minutes is up.
Okay.
Can you put them there?
Okay, so you've gotten a bit of a plan for how you. I need a chair. I need some elbow room up here. Sorry.
All right.
Didn't mean to be unfriendly.
Stand up.
For the police
Dave's been helping me sort the cards here. All right, so you have a plan on your workflow. I'm just curious. 10 seconds. Give me a little quick brief. We got some observers who are going to be watching for specific things.
4 of us are going to separate black and red and hearts, diamonds, hearts will be separated by them and clubs and spades.
Okay, so you've got your thing, and you know where the cards are going to wind up once they're sorted?
In front of each one of those.
We're gonna have 2 piles, we'll have 2 piles, 2 piles, 2 piles.
So they'll be all okay.
How are we?
You didn't care about where they're located, right?
I'm not fussy, I just want to be able to.
And done is
And we're
thumbs up.
done. 12 thumbs up.
So Michelle's
So one
got to
each.
watch for and count 12 thumbs being up.
Well,
Yeah.
so maybe
In order to know when to stop to watch, where they might watch you.
How about this? How about
Michelle, are you
maybe you
ready
guys
for
can
that?
just call
sometimes just say signal.
I'm not in any hurry. I'll go through and methodically count.
Michael, how about Michael's the one, because she'll see him.
Okay, so I'll say once everybody has
You're
pulled up,
watching
I'll
all of
say
us.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You say 12.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
gonna
Are we
be
going to
saying-
give a time estimate?
I'm sorry,
Oh,
could
you want-
someone please tell me what I should look for?
Want to have lunch?
He's going to tell you we're done.
So Mike is?
I
You're gonna say we're done?
yes. I
Or
will
make
be-
some other kind
It will
of
be the official signal.
victory sound? All right.
How many? 7 minutes?
No.
I'm going to say 3.
I say 5.
4.
That's coming.
2. 4 minutes. 4 minutes. 3 minutes. It's the average.
Hey, hold on.
So,
Let's
wait,
all
wait,
vote.
wait,
Okay. Everyone think 5 or below?
Below.
Okay, so everyone hold up a finger. How many do you think it'll take?
Oh, 5.
3. So the average is 4.
Yeah.
4.
Let's start there.
Now you know why I've
While you're,
dispensed with the
while
idea
you're
of
throwing,
worrying too much about ice cream.
tell them the same
Or
thing.
diamonds.
Ready, set, go.
And they're off.
Okay. Go for it.
The timer's running, yeah?
Get them over to diamonds. Diamonds. Yeah, just do the color.
I need
King on top. King on top. King. King on top.
Done. Lots done.
The other way. King on top. King on top.
Gotta stack them.
The other way.
Gotta stack them.
King on top. King on top.
King and top.
They're done?
Done.
Go.
Okay, done.
12. How much time?
Oh, 1 minute and 14.3.
We should go around and do a high five for everybody.
Don't do anything with the cards, just
Don't
check
touch
for
the
errors.
pairs. Don't touch them.
Simply check for errors.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Audit. What's
let
happening?
me just fan out the cards, and you can help me do that. Observers, why don't you also be checkers?
Let's see what you got.
Where are my observers? Yeah, that looks good, that looks good.
Zero error.
Let's go.
Yay.
Okay, it's our official time. All right, great. Now, let's have a quick little debrief.
Yes.
Let's have a pair of observers who are looking for what things went smoothly, and let's have their report. And you all think about it. Well, wait a minute. Before we do that, how about if we start as the team? Let's say the team. What do you think went smoothly, and then we'll talk about in what ways do you think
Once they were sorted,
things got going.
once they were sorted by Sue, I think things went pretty organized.
We had an excellent.
I'd step back even further.
Yeah, I think there was-
Step back and it was very clear right away that somebody stepped up. You just started talking about, okay, let's separate red and green. So we started out by assuming what the high level plan was, someone speaking about that, and then going from there to, okay, instead of having one person, you brought up that, hey, instead of 2 people, let's have 4 people to do it better. So that went very well in terms of our flexibility with modification on the fly. And then you were a good
I
follower.
think I was half done, and then she helped me just do the other half. Then we combined it.
Yeah.
So those things were all going well.
I think there was an interesting, right at the beginning when the cards went down, you and I both grabbed for the cards and they kind of scattered.
Yeah.
I didn't
And it was okay.
It was
okay.
Well,
It
it
would
would
have
have
been
been
awesome.
more
What-
effective if
yeah.
one person had just quickly divided them into 4 piles.
Right.
Because you were underfed at the beginning.
Yeah.
And also, what if they had fallen?
If they fall in, then we
Yeah.
have time to pick them up.
Actually, that's not true because those that were fallen, when we were scattering them, we ended up doing the exact same thing. What fell, we actually scooped it up and then rescattered.
No.
Well,
If
it
you're
fell
not
on the
listening,
floor.
if it fell on the floor, we wouldn't have
Because
noticed.
you could tell on the floor, but
So-
it did not.
So I guess
When I saw one go, I was like,
yeah, I was. So I was curious.
Let's see what the observers thought went well. Two observers were looking for what things went well. Did you
Nothing
notice
went
anything?
I was strictly looking for facts. I'm leaving interpretation up to you. So one is that I noticed that there was almost full interconnection initially when the cards were being divided by suit and color, and then as soon as it started moving into sorting, that we saw clumping of activity with inactivity here and here, and major clumps of activity here and here.
So some people were overloaded while some
Toward the
didn't have
end.
enough work to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That was it.
Does that match your understanding as team?
Well, I couldn't tell, yeah, because I just saw things coming, so I
think, I mean, there was, I think a good, you doing one policy, me doing another, and then also, I was multitasking in one respect, because when things were being thrown over here, I was over here, while you were still sorting there, so there was an offloading.
One more observer. Is there anything you wanted to add to that too?
Oh, it seemed like from the very beginning, everyone understood really well what they were supposed to do. There was one point though when I got really worried because the cards, somebody, yes, it was very chaotic over here. I was like, oh my God, like what if it does fall into the on the floor?
Yeah. Okay. But so overall, that part went smoothly, you think?
We recovered.
Really impressive how quickly it was.
Okay, and your other observation was that it seemed like the team all had a good understanding of what the plan was.
It seemed like I didn't understand what they were doing because I was speaking with you initially, but I was really amazed at how well they did understand what every person was supposed to do.
Okay.
Can I add one more thing?
Sure, yes.
What I found fascinating, because I couldn't watch too much because I had to make sure that I kept my eye on this and was ready to push the button when I needed to, right? What was fascinating to me is you all started sitting down, and then it was one by one, the people who were doing the most work suddenly stood up. And then you would watch other people, they're still sitting down waiting for cards, and then you could tell the people who were really engaged because it was just like this little pop-up. It was like pop-up, and then a few more, and then everybody was up. So that was really cool to watch.
Let's have a couple minutes and let's ask what could use improvement. Let's hear first from the team, and then I have a couple of observers who are watching for places that could use some improvement.
These guys finished at least 15 seconds before everyone else. I don't know.
What would you
Yeah.
We did adjust. At the beginning, we were both going to be sorting, but there were so many blacks coming, we ended up helping split the.
So he started sorting
She
in
started
between
sorting.
suit, and we started lining up 2 rows. So like, if I got one, I put one, and on top you're starting your second row. And so you're adding the cards in, and then if you had like 1 through 4, I would just pump it so he knows it has everything it needs underneath it. You just add the top and do the rest of it.
Right, and I didn't know she was going to do that. She explained that to me when I was done splitting these. And then
I was trying actually. I arranged everything in the same deck. Not that actually kind of.
Yeah. So as you find them, just put them on the row, whichever.
Yeah,
row.
and actually, something I think that the bad cards forward. Something that I was doing exactly the same thing with the rows, but then suddenly I started having hearts. You were throwing hearts and diamonds and pushing them over to me and you messed up my row.
And I was hoping that you were laying them out by order of card.
Yeah, instead of putting them in the middle as color, you started helping.
You started doing
the hearts and the diamonds, and you swept our stuff away because you didn't know what I was doing because you were just focusing on helping me, but it wasn't really helping me at that point in time. That's fine. I did very quickly.
The other thing was for me, so when we did the black citizens,
I thought I was working on my work, but I didn't
expect to reach them.
Yeah.
So I did a diamond in the heart.
We have some conversations.
Firing and then I couldn't.
Say that again?
I said I couldn't reach them to do the spade and the gloves. Yeah. So someone closer to me should do that, and then I could do the ordering.
All the people on the end.
Yeah. But one conversation at a time as we do our debriefs. Any other issues? You mentioned about how new cards coming in.
Yeah, I had the 2 rows, and then suddenly a bunch of new cards came in.
Right.
The other thing is right on top of each other, and it was very loud. I'm joking.
So I'm curious.
If you were to have even number of somehow get the
That's our first improvement, I think.
Yeah,
And the deck, somebody grab them and separate them into 4 pieces and then go.
And understand
in the rules.
Okay. What we'll do next is let's hear from our two observers
Yeah,
who are
that's
looking
fine.
for things that went wrong. Did you have something?
I have a few observations.
I had two official observers here. So let's hear from them first.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed, I think some of what, you've already said about people notice the chaos of the knocking over. I definitely noticed that, and I had that, wow, if it goes under the table there, it would take a while to notice. I mean, eventually you'd have noticed a gap, but then you go, and I guess enough people noticed the possibility that you would have looked under the table, so I guess that wasn't so much of a weakness, but it was a possible weakness. I noticed also, just especially in the sorting of things in the suits, it seemed like there were a lot of times when, like, I guess you two primarily were sorting them in onto the tables, and like your hands were running into other people's hands. I mean, you might have felt that too, but like there was some sort of interference there. Like they were doing, whatever they were trying to do, your hands were running. I mean, just because you were sort of putting stuff into their space, which, wasn't, I think, by design that you were putting it in their space, but it did lead to some physical.
So question. Thanks from Laura. You've got a question for Laura? Question.
How did we get a number of hearts in that area and a number of diamonds in this area when it was supposed to be the other way around? How did that happen?
No, we would always diamonds.
I know, but there were a number of heart cards that were that way.
I saw one card that came over face down too, which I was like.
Yeah, but I mean, one of the, and probably that was a time when there was this messing up.
We're gonna do another run in a little bit.
No, I was trying to understand how did it happen so we can prevent it.
Well, see, you're gonna have 3 minutes to do another plan. So we'll let you stretch us. I want to hear from my last other observer there.
Two things. I saw the mechanical piece of reaching for the cards, so that you had your longer arms, or else you have transfer the cards over there to start with the hand slap, if you will, the urgency that they are. Probably the larger comment that I have is the strong voices dwarfed the quiet ones. The strong voices didn't give time for the more silent ones to speak, to have an opinion. They were actually given opinions. So this is the way we're going to do it.
Okay.
Here it is.
Stronger, quieter voices. And did you have something to add?
Yeah, a couple of thoughts. Well, one is I saw over here many people holding the cards in their hands and putting them in and so on. And I thought, and some of them did, that just going to have them laid out, move them here, and then when they're all done, bring them together, which I thought would be a faster one because you're holding it in your hand, you're using your hand up and having to work at close quarters. The other thing was something that I thought you'd have to watch for, and you could have in other circumstances, but it didn't come up. But probably in the planning thing, suppose the cards are all sticky and hard to move.
Well, we're not going to have that. No.
I saw that honey in
Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We got 1 more hour left, and we're going to now start doing rapid reruns, as many as you want to fit in. But I have a new piece of information to you. I want to thank our observers. I want to ask you to be on the watch as they go through these next runs. They'll have a pause and a retro that they just do themselves, and they can ask you for your input, okay? But they're as a team, they're going to control their retrospective and then their replan. And then you can do as many runs as you want now, and what I'll do is it's 1:30. We have until 2:30, so if we go these next 45 minutes with you just doing this as much as you want, you can. And what I'm looking for is, this is a really good time, but you want to know how fast the fastest team did that ever did this?
48.
Lower?
Oh my.
38.
Lower?
25?
Close.
26 seconds?
How many people?
12.
About this size.
Wow.
Okay? Yeah. So, maybe that stirs your plans a little bit. So, let's give you 3 minutes to think about it. Now remember, you can exercise yourself any way you want. You can use everybody, use somebody in the hall. You can rearrange the furniture.
That's the thing I want to go.
3 minutes.
Here, on the clock. You're 7 seconds in already.
No, I know.
So make sure trying to work on it. If we have a table that was a little bit longer and not so long. One at a time.
Everybody sucks.
Can you speak up?
Okay, yeah. Everybody sorts. Like in this table, we sort red this side, black this side, and then we pass it on. Once they are done, they do the spade, we do the clubs. then you pass your black stuff here. And then you have all the red stuff there.
But you can't do red and black down there.
Right.
Because I may have 2 5 of diamonds over here.
He's
Now
just saying split them red and black on this table first, and you do the same.
You do the same.
Pass over.
Okay.
We
Then
give you all the reds, you give us all
you
the
give
blacks.
us all the blacks. Then you do the spades. We do the clubs.
So everybody sorts. We'll split the decks and everybody
It's a
sorts.
binary.
And then we'll give you the blacks as opposed to throwing them over us.
Yeah.
Just in time.
Yeah.
And then we still do
Who
diamonds.
gives
we
the
still do
blacks?
hearts.
Because there's a big confusion, like trying to, everybody trying
Yeah.
to grab it.
No.
Okay.
Okay. You give the red to them. You receive the black. You give the red. You receive the black. Yeah. So and then once you receive the blacks. Well,
can I suggest something?
You're halfway through.
We
90 seconds.
We did a minute and 14 seconds. Why don't we try to improve that the way we did it before we totally change it?
The only thing I would say is I'm not happy with the shape of the table.
We can't change that.
Can't change that? Can't go out there and get a long table?
No.
Reach,
No. You can move a little that way and we have more space that way.
Okay, now we have a minute left.
Did have a long table. Just did have a long
So what's our
So what's our plan here? We only have 45 seconds left.
No, you got a minute.
Red, black, red, black, red, black.
The floor has
Flop
fiction.
it.
The floor has fiction, it won't work.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, let's stop. We can't change the tables.
Okay.
Okay.
Correct?
So let's go.
Red, black, red, black. Move the red, receive black. Clubs, spades, diamonds, hearts.
So we're gonna try the same.
No.
Okay,
We're gonna try so okay, to start with, she's gonna put them down. I'm gonna split them into 2 piles. I'm gonna put one here.
30
You're gonna put one
seconds.
right in front of you. You're gonna put it there. You have longer arms than Savannah, so you can make sure you get it right in the middle. Okay?
All of us gonna sort into piles.
And then we all
We're all sorting into piles. And then we're gonna do diamonds.
All right, 10 seconds.
No,
that was my idea, but they said no.
And then
we'll
the
try
same
something
person to
different.
say, same thumbs up, and same.
Time's up.
Okay, so just about ready to start now. So we ready?
We're ready when you are.
Yeah, okay, our observers, where they can see the action. Just push it up a little bit.
I'm gonna move over one
These
more
are a little hard to pick up.
No, but then when we're done, when we have all the
Yeah, then you
try her.
Okay, everybody, ready for run number 2? Yeah. Set, go. Do you have an estimate you want to give me before we start?
58.
90 seconds.
90
seconds.
No, that's all.
58.
I think it's gonna be longer.
75.
1 minute.
1 minute.
That's 74.
1 minute.
1 minute.
1 minute.
60 seconds.
I'm trying to say slightly less than 60
You're aiming for a
seconds.
minute, how you're not going to try for the 26
All right.
seconds? Get in for a minute, it's okay. The estimations are only theoretical. Okay, ready, set, go.
Any pile more pile?
No, it was the cards that I had in my hand. Yeah.
You're good.
Could you put it wrong? Could you put it wrong? Is it out of order?
We're good. Spade's done. No?
I'm sick of
Done. Done.
Okay.
What? What? What was it?
Orders important. Observers, quickly give me a hand checking for quality. there's no mistakes.
Oh, sorry.
Because after all, we don't care how well they're sorted.
There's a mistake.
Okay, one mistake. Any others?
Faster, better, worse, or
good on both.
How about down there? Good. Good down there? Okay, well, we have to know that there's one error.
Customer visible defect.
Slower and
And actually, no, we were done. We should have checked.
Okay.
Yeah, we've
Now,
done
we're
waiting.
gonna,
We're done waiting.
from here until 2:15, we have until 2:30, am I right? This session? Until 2:15, we're gonna follow this pattern. You're in charge. You get to do as many runs as you can fit in, and you have up to 3 minutes for planning, and you may now have 3 minutes for a retrospective if you'd like. And it's up to you to ask if you want the observers' inputs. You ask for them. So I won't orchestrate now. It's up to you how the time gets used. Thank you.
So,
Okay, I'll
hang
just
on
get out of your
top.
way.
Hang on top, yeah. Yeah.
3 minutes.
Which one was better? The first approach or the second approach?
Second, yeah, it felt really chaotic, but we were close to time. I was surprised.
I was shocked too. I thought we'd be like, I was going to say a minute and a half. Easy.
Yeah, we were close to time, but we were all waiting for that time.
Yeah.
It would have only been 5 seconds.
Right, like this, but you
No.
flipped
That was not even.
I personally see improvements in the first method. The second one, I don't know. We said before there was too many hands. Now we put six extra hands.
There were a lot of
hands.
clouds got pushed together that weren't supposed to be together because they were older.
I saw more mistakes this time because, first of all, I didn't have cards until way to the thing. And then also I saw like our cards were and it happened. It was much smoother earlier.
Yeah,
I think so
with
too.
less people sorting initially.
Right. We were waiting for a few, but once they were giving it
Yeah.
to us, you think about a sort. Once someone gives it to you, you sort it.
And then you guys
Well, I think the first thing you should do is flip it over.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it to you.
Thank you.
Do I take flips or do I take step number
That's a
one?
positive comment.
Yes, but you're
We thought just by me doing it in half was one step.
Yeah.
And as I was handing it to you, I saw that
He will get the first. Yeah.
And then when we're done, we can
I will
give you
I was no. He was
you
going to
need to
have.
give them first.
I'm going to give you the first half.
Okay.
You're going to split it in half and give
Give
it
it
to
to
those
them
two.
first.
I'm going to split the second half, flip it over.
For us.
So for you two. So
Okay.
when you turn around,
So I'm
you're going
gonna
to have the stack
have
Yes.
of cards right there.
Because they don't wait as long.
And then we're sorting.
Now,
We're
but-
ranking.
Yes, we're still doing the same thing. Now, you just said something that was interesting. She picked up the cards and went like
Well,
that.
that's how I did it too.
You did too.
The first time. The second time was.
Now we'll ask the observers. Did you notice which method was better?
I did not.
The dealing? Could you?
All I know is that Brett finished about 5 seconds ahead.
Bird's eye view right up front.
Yeah, probably.
This time. The other time.
I was next to
Okay, the first time it was the other way around. Red finished before them, but we had one error.
Yes.
But in the first pass, they finished before us.
Yeah,
They
we
were
had
waiting
two
on us.
errors. One was your thing was
Yep.
off. The other one we had the thing at the bottom.
Well,
We
he
had
did
to-
too. That's
yeah.
actually the reason
Yeah.
I changed it around.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
And
still
that's
they were,
that
but
was
still
just-
they were slower than us.
Because
The
that is
second
the
time.
second time we've had that error. Yeah. We've had that error
What,
in
the
round
king?
one. The king
Oh,
at the
yeah.
bottom in round one as well.
Okay.
We had to recover from that, and we did it again the second.
Do we want to try switching places? I hear a lot of them and us.
I'd say let's do one more time like this. I think that's a great idea, though.
30 seconds still.
Okay.
Okay.
We're ready.
Ready?
Ready?
don't need the other 30 seconds.
Okay.
I'll just pull this one.
Well, the more runs you get, the closer you come to That's what I vote now.
I would split this 1 minute.
You want to have
We get lots of stuff comes this way. We can just kind of.
Sorry.
Ready, set, go.
Yeah, this is what happened here. That's a messed up card. Yeah.
We have
Somebody threw a.
it's by not by color.
It's by suit.
There you go.
Why is this over here?
That's their diamond.
What happened here?
We need the 6 of diamonds. 6 of diamonds.
Here.
We're done. They're bad cards.
Ready? By suit?
Diamonds
No,
are done.
those are bad cards.
Bad cards.
They're bad cards.
Done.
Okay, done.
I don't know. We got thrown. 131 is the preliminary reading.
Because of this.
So
Yes.
that's-
We got thrown, we got thrown.
Why bad cards?
There's black cards and hands.
Black diamonds and red clubs.
What happened? Show me what you got.
I heard you guys saying if I was short,
Oh, look at this.
observers, you gotta watch her, please.
Suspicious anomalies in the deck.
Yeah.
I heard you guys say that. I'm like, what are they saying?
This also happened to the 26-second team.
Oh, wow.
They had a perturbance in their data stream, right?
Yeah.
So now you know how in big data programs, unexpected data can just blow up the program, right? Well, you need to have a process that's immune to variation, huh?
Yeah.
Can handle variation. Yeah.
Throw them out the window.
But let's check for errors though with what we've got sorted. And
We can,
if I can get some observers to give me a hand quickly checking for errors. There you
No, I
go.
believe you.
Okay, that's
The
good.
relationship's based
How about
on
on that table? Observers checking?
Yeah, they're good.
Okay, so all those came out okay?
Yep.
Yeah, right. Everybody's forward. Okay, so you correctly sifted out the weeds. So this is good. At least
But it
it
did-
did
it caused us
add a
pause.
little bit to your time.
Especially since we multiple people.
You may choose how long to spend between now and starting the next run and what you want to do with that time, but max of 6 minutes.
Let's do 3 and 3 again.
And I'll tell you something about that in the debrief. We go until 2:30 altogether.
Right?
Yes. So we're gonna go for another 25 minutes or so like this, and we will allow ourselves 15 minutes or so for a debrief before we get to 2:30. So.
The one problem I saw was that multiple people recognized that there was a problem with those cards, but people kept grabbing them.
it is true. I kept putting them over there.
Put them on the floor.
I think part of that is that, at least I was confused if those actually needed to go in sequence. And so I would put them over here, the red ones over here. You guys would be like, no, they're not red. And I'm like, but they're clubs. It's by suit, not by color.
That's what I was hearing. I was hearing clubs, and I just glanced up and I said, I don't see any clubs over here. What are they talking about? I was looking at color.
I think we should worry about it during the sorting and not during the separation.
I think.
But what if you are confused? What if you think that it's
How do you know if it's a bad one?
I was it on the floor.
Well, you know, I had some. I am dyslexic, and I had something. I found the first mistake, and I realized it was a mistake, and get rid of it. And then I saw another one that wasn't a mistake, and I interpreted it as a mistake because I kind of.
Oh, you did. That's right.
And I was trying to hold it. No, this is a bad one. And I
remember that. Okay, then maybe put it on the chair. That way, if you need to check it.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought they could put it over your shoulder,
But then there was no space on the table.
What I think is all colors should be on this table regardless of what suit they belong to. And when you start sorting, it is evident then, right, that it's the wrong one and you throw it out.
So one person on each.
You still want to pull it out.
So should one person on each
Okay, so
table?
where do we put a bonus card?
You're wasting your time.
Well, put them here.
What if I find it?
If I'd done that, I would
Exactly.
have messed them up. I think the important thing to do, what I started to do to correct myself when I realized is I just pulled for the right one. And if it wasn't the right one, I ignored it. Whether it was wrong, it didn't matter how it was wrong. I needed a 6 of hearts, I was looking for a 6 of hearts. But I want to also suggest there are a bunch of small square coffee tables out there. I don't know whether it would make a difference if we got all the little square tables and got down on our knees and did it.
do have a mechanical question. Maybe someone does it better than me. I have a hard time picking up a card to then put it on something, and these edges
don't
here,
help. Yes, yes.
A better surface would help.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
Unless does someone else know a better way to do it?
Yeah. How about we actually put those
Put it on the floor.
flip charts over here so that it doesn't kind of slip?
You'd have to
You may have to get cards under the flip page.
Hold on. What about what she just said? What about on the floor?
Yeah.
But the 30 seconds.
But I think that's fine.
Why not you try to slide?
Yeah, well, then we're working rather than
We can try the floor, but I think it's...
Where'd you go?
Try the floor, yeah, we can try it.
I know, what did you do?
Are you watching her?
So do we agree on what the errors, what we do with errors?
Errors go on the chair. On your chair.
You have a team with the cards on the floor?
You
The ones that are not
thinking
matching.
about if it's an error or not.
You spend time thinking about it. Now we're aware of it.
Can I propose a one?
Wait, can you want to?
Time's up on our retrospective. Now we get to do our planning.
How about if I go get one of the glass tops from the lunch table to throw the wild plastic? That way they'll still be on the table where if we're missing for something, we can check if it's a station there, and we all have a place to put it.
Can I propose something for the, I propose that you check with somebody else. You
There you
have
go,
someone
yeah.
validate
This time.
because that would prevent the error, and as well as I don't know.
But it's not
make you
efficient,
feel.
it's time-wise.
Do we have people that aren't doing anything at the end? Because they could then check the chairs.
When I was
Okay.
not doing, at the end, when I had time, I was actually helping put them in the 1, 2, 3, 4 pile. Yes.
So yes, we do have. I think we do have bandwidth on some
We
people to
did
do
have
error
bandwidth.
checking.
But I wouldn't put it on the chair because that takes time.
Yeah.
Well, are we
I
doing
put
the
it, it
floor
has
or
to
are
be
we
visible.
doing the table?
I say we do it on the floor. We both just checked, and they'll slide on the floor. They slide better like this.
So we can get to the.
Do a quick vote.
We're gonna move this. We're gonna get on our hands and
Or we
knees.
can just move this.
We can move right
Instead
there.
of moving furniture.
There you
Do
go.
people want to try it on the floor?
I'll try.
Everyone
Yeah.
feel
Okay.
comfortable?
Are people comfortable?
Well, that's what we're at.
Is everyone comfortable getting on their hands and knees?
Okay.
Yes.
So let's
Was that a?
It doesn't have to be unanimous. It has to be unanimous.
No, it does. I think it does.
I'm a follower. No, I'm a follower. I'm following. I don't
Well,
agree.
link.
Okay, how much time?
So,
do we have?
90 seconds left. My
90
thinking is,
seconds.
yes, it's worth a try, but I'm actually not convinced that it's going to be quicker. It's worth a try.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
it's
so
an
then,
experiment.
if we're on board with trying it once,
Let's try
move
once.
on to the next
I would do it once.
decision. Okay, so we have to
So
move
how do we
these out
solve
of the way.
this?
Yeah, we're just gonna go right over
Oh,
here.
over the way. Okay.
Same thing.
We'll do the same thing. Did that help splitting,
So-
turning over?
So,
Yes, thank you.
how about this, right? These two guys kind of split it out, and these are the only two guys. They are the bottleneck. How about 4 people actually do the sorting?
We do.
That's
There
what
are
we
us.
do. We've been doing that.
It's just the four
They're
of us.
doing color, you two are doing suit, we're starting to order, and then when they're done, they're helping complete the order.
So did you guys pick up and sort this time, or did you?
I don't pick up.
Well, no, you guys.
I didn't. I should have put it down.
You liked putting it down.
Again, I didn't see the cards here, they were here. I did try to put, but it didn't get very.
I apologize. I threw 2 things your way. And I
I'll
was
do
like,
it again, yeah.
We're sorted.
Because I think we forgot.
30 seconds.
no, those 4. And then
We're sorted. Suit sorted.
You're
Sorting means suit.
you're pulling diamonds towards us, and I'm doing order.
Okay. Laura?
Yeah.
And then where are we putting the errors? We're putting it on.
Behind you.
Behind us. Behind us?
10 seconds left.
You want to put it this way?
Put it back. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
I should make it visible so we don't lose time.
yeah. So the 4 of us lose.
I wonder. I'm going to move it.
Okay, cards.
Then with let's put the errors in the middle,
Yeah.
and the 4 of us. Can check.
Yeah, errors go back to the middle for you guys to decide what you're going to do with it. What if you find it in the middle?
Okay. So here we go. Oh, we need one. Scarves could be a lot of Okay, ready,
I know
set,
that worked the camera. I would have not paid for videographers.
Keep tight.
No, you're
Club's
going to
clear.
this way.
Joker. Ace. 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, 10 goes here.
Club 5. We have 3. We have 2 3s. We have 3 3s now, right? Probably that. No, and then stage
We're
right.
done.
8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
King
Check
top.
that one.
Check.
Check.
No.
It's missing.
Done.
Done.
How come we didn't get errors?
1, 4, 3.
Yeah,
Joker's an error.
Yeah, we're gonna break it.
Well, we corrected, yeah, we caught it.
No errors.
Oh, those errors.
Okay, so are we happy with the floor? Is that working? Yeah. There was one.
We saw that. That was a good grab. We saw that.
My cards are getting a little beat up. Okay, you got one bad card? Yep, that was it?
That was it. Oh, there's one.
Whoops.
One bad card.
We have lots of dice and dolls.
Are the others all okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
let's slide those forwards. And your time is your own for planning your next run, and whether you want to ask for any input from the observers or whatever. It's entirely your.
So I think
What worked well?
So I think that it worked well on the floor because we could reconfigure how we worked based on what stage of the process we were on. Because I felt like I could move over here and
Yes.
all three be around.
Yeah.
True, yeah, you were feeding me better. Yeah, you were sliding them in there.
Okay.
Is there any way to improve this part of the sorting on the suits? How
What would help you?
messy? I don't know. What
Yeah.
else? It seems confusing.
Because what I can say is at the very beginning, my priority was to get the colors.
Yes.
Later on, I was paying more attention. But at the very beginning, it was just feed you something.
Yes, we're-
Because otherwise,
You have to focus on the
waiting.
colors. You can't focus on one.
Yeah.
Okay. No, she should only focus on
One
aspect.
One aspect.
color sort, only color sort, only, and
Tell them what were you going to say?
We need more space. So when I was doing the sorting by the numbers this time, I think what I did, I focused more on just getting one pile done, like by pulling out one pile's worth, and then what was left was just the other ones. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that seemed to go faster.
Did you think it went faster? Because
I
I did
don't
the
know.
exact
Was I
same thing.
last?
Because all of a
I
sudden
don't know if I
had.
was last though. Maybe I was the slowest.
They were first again.
Maybe we should ask observers.
We did.
Yeah.
Hold on. Who was first? What did you guys do right?
So
What's your method?
we take, as the spades come out, you just slide them. If it's like an ace, you put it low over here. If it's 10 somewhere over here, and you do just enough space for all of them. So if you have a 2 here, you just put the 2 on top of it. So you're matching. You know you have 2 of everything. You just slide it into space.
Oh, you're doing solitaire.
Yeah,
Kind of, yeah.
Yes, I think one thing. One thing I realized is that we didn't have enough space to sort it out. We figured out that
I was
so
cramped, yeah.
we wanted to go from ace to king, and we were actually kind of juggling because we were all kind of cramped in space. So if we are going to spread out in the side, in the ends, it might actually work out better.
I mean, we can move further back the people that are sorting them,
Yeah.
and they just funnel to you. So
Yeah,
you guys
it
sort
gets
them
wider
more.
and wider.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. What do you guys think?
Well, what I saw, what you just addressed here, was that you did the same thing on the table. It was going this way, and both times I saw you got distracted from something coming into your arena. And I didn't really notice what was going on then, but I noticed that you guys, I wasn't sure of the exact angle, but it seemed more compact in an angle, like between you, whereas this one was going this way, and you had a long reach to get to it.
And what I felt was like I was trying to arrange them, and you kept throwing cards.
Yeah, I was trying not to, but yeah.
And you know,
I'll
so maybe
put
more
it-
room.
Yeah, and
maybe
so
move back.
slide back. So when she slides them, they're up here and not in your row.
And the other part,
But the thing that it just, she said, I think is really, really good. When we're putting them together into the piles, and you have, ace, 2, 3, you got to kind of put them together. But if you think in terms of solitaire, where they're overlapping, that's much faster.
Yeah,
Just do
I
low and
tried to stack them, and then I screwed it up, and I went back and tried to fix it.
But it takes more time to pick them up and slide them in when
Yeah.
you're arranging them. It doesn't take that much time to blast them.
yeah, I've started another 3 minutes.
Okay,
So I
one-
like the low to high. Yeah, and initially you're sorting and then doing that.
And the secondary sorters can also do
face cards and non-face cards. Like face cards,
Right.
I'll
That's
say
the
to my,
highlight.
I'll say to you, to my right,
Yeah.
and look,
Yeah.
non-face cards to the left.
That's big, I think.
And that's what you, once you were done sorting, that's you came in.
Yeah. What about the rest of you guys? What else did you guys see?
Well, not so much from the mechanics, but more from the verbal side of it. What I'm observing is that you guys are seeking out everyone's participation and what would help them. I think your question was great. What would help you, right? That was wonderful. And then yours back there is what is your method, right? And not necessarily what are you doing right, but hey, you're being successful. Can you share with what we're having? So what you're doing is you're actually melding as a team because you have the common goal and you're starting to see that there's benefit by the leveraging each other's techniques and somewhat challenging in a very supportive way. So it's actually kind of neat to watch.
So do we have everything we want to do for
So one exchange just before the last one where he said, is everybody okay with this? And if you want to get consensus more, does anybody have an objection to this?
So are we all
Is
set?
there any way to, anyone that can think of for improvements to cut it down? I mean, so we got last grade, but how can we get 90 seconds?
Yeah, drastic.
How can we get to 50 seconds, 40 seconds?
Well, we said something about, the ones in the middle being kind of closer together and the ones in the end being a little further back. That way we wouldn't be infringing on each other's space.
Yeah, we can. And the errors, did that work? That worked okay.
Yeah,
The
I
errors?
saw Savannah throw that one right between her legs real quick. Get it out of the...
It says you have to use a full time event until you can get more runs in.
Okay,
Remember,
let's go.
You ready?
Ready? Yes?
Ready?
Full system now.
Are you ready? Ready?
Okay, that was a full system. You're telling me when to start.
Tom, I can do
She's
this.
going to do it this time. I'm 50-50 doing it.
Okay, ready, set, go.
Flip them over.
Come over, yeah.
This is run number 5.
That's red.
Done. Check them, if they're not done, so check your piles.
9 diamonds, anyone?
No.
No, we're good.
I say,
Are you done?
Done.
Salmon.
Well, that's an error.
106. Hang on. Let me write it
You've
down.
been under a minute.
It took a while to find out, yeah.
Does it make sense to check?
Yeah. When then?
They weren't
When
done.
they had a problem. Yeah, when they were done.
If not, we would have.
So what's
Yes,
the problem?
correct.
We would have had.
Is it that?
Yes.
Yes, that's
You
it.
can find
You know, there's variation in the real world, and this makes you a stronger team. You have to cope with it. So see, this is all part of making the process
I'm
robust
sitting here going,
enough
what the hell
to,
am I doing with it?
in the presence of variation, just another kind of variation.
Okay.
So I'm not going to call it an error because it was a condition of the world. But let's make sure there aren't any errors in there. Observer's going to give me a hand here.
We checked everything.
That's a self-relief.
Okay, that's good.
Good.
That's good. That's
Oh,
missing
missing
9.
nine.
Yeah, I know. I'm good there.
But I'm
The other one's good?
Good.
Good.
Okay, let's move those forward. You guys know the drill. We still have
So I have a question
10
for
more
you.
minutes that you can run and talk and refine your process.
So the question I have is, I know you did that, and so they say variation, but in essence, should that whole deck have been thrown out as an error?
That's wrong with your definition of done.
A self-organizing team, you did the best you could do in the circumstances you had.
I mean, it's
You know what I mean? If the world didn't give you the 9 and you were trying to have it in there for completeness.
That's the reality.
What did the
So
team
we've got
actually
to
did
do
26 seconds do?
All right, let's start our time and let's all talk together one at a time.
So.
What were you going to say? I'm sorry. You
Yeah,
started
the team
saying.
which actually did 26 seconds, what did they do different?
She You said they were on
Do
a
we want to
square
do
table.
that now? Well, what do we do differently? That's a hard thing to answer. I'm sure you, and you know what, there isn't one, I don't think there's one solution to this. But one of the things was they got a very fast early start, so it seems to be key.
So let's change our method of our.
That's what's happening.
Maybe we can
Well,
have
one
Nancy
of the
give the
moves
card
they
away.
did, since you're asking,
Yeah.
was to quickly turn the cards over, I give you face down, quickly turn them over, and swoosh them down the table very fast.
I also have a request that you,
Scatter.
Nancy, I have a request that you give the card of the data instructor.
Well,
you don't
no,
have that.
but
Starting positions.
so that's fine. I
Well,
can
And
go.
you can hear, you can move.
How about we arrange that so that she remembers?
No,
We can jump over.
But you know, what she said is, you know the old cowboy scenes where they just throw the bars down, the beers down the table, down the bar, top and everything. People just grab them as they're going by and everything. That's another idea. If we were had our idea about 2 rows, and watch them come down,
It's
and
so
go
true.
and have to keep from a TV reference and grab the
Second to
company
do
it in.
And also, we don't have to worry about the crack in the between the table.
So,
Right,
we
we
can
can
just
lose
we can just do that.
Because you can always see what's going on here, but yeah, different. So I thought it would be interesting. Yeah, the watcher could see.
You said that before the switch.
Iteration
Yeah.
of this, so I'm gonna ask them.
So, do people want to try
Back
that?
into like a bigger so that just
Okay,
Throwing
so-
cards and pulling out?
I could, yeah.
So
but
what
I
do
just put it like in
we
a
divide
way.
right here?
Right.
It was and everybody.
Yeah, but how do we get black? So if I have a black
So that
card,
way
how
they
do I
won't
get
come
it to
up
them?
with the right
It
way.
still has to pass through the other hands, right? You start, as soon as you have,
Still goes to those
you
guys.
start starting one
Okay,
to
okay,
one to ten.
Down the
So you guys grab all
Yeah.
the diamonds, you guys grab all the hearts as they go by, and we get to me, it should just be close.
We don't have to divide it just by diamonds and hearts.
I'd move it even
Face,
more like right.
the base cards for the hearts, the number cards for the hearts, the 0 through 8 through 4 for the hearts.
Would that take more thinking?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think that if you're going to wait for them to sort out red and red,
It's too
spaces,
slow.
it's too slow, yeah. By the time it comes to us,
No, wait,
No,
we have
so
time.
by swoosh, I think she's just
Swooshing
like
is
we
just
just
a getting
throw
off.
the cards
Yes.
out.
And then what happens there, once they're out, you start picking out the ones that you can sort into the 1 to K, and then you pick out the ones that you don't need and start. So that's my question. So I would just grab my clubs and do my
And you
sorting
would push-
and push everything away that's not in my.
And you guys, so the guys in the middle keep sorting.
You guys
up, 3 minutes
get them
left.
after that.
Starting your next 3 minutes.
We're starting.
Well,
I'm
grabbing
wondering,
spades and I'm grabbing
I
clubs.
don't know, but I'm wondering if we
What am I supposed to
became more
Listen,
specialized.
no, go ahead, you were talking.
All right. If we become more specialized and we just had, I am A through 4 for a pod.
I don't think that'll work, because that pile out there, I'm not gonna see that. I need someone
But
to feed me.
if it's all swishing,
Then we have 102 cards, 104 cards rotating through, and if I'm waiting for 104, I'm waiting for long.
You can't control what's going to land in front of you, so
You
you
can.
whatever's there, you need to get it as quickly as possible to the area.
into the area. I'm just going to put up one more thing, and then I'll drop it. But when all kids come out of the schoolhouse, I recognize my kids very easily because I know what I'm looking for. And there are hundreds
You might
of kids coming
recognize
out.
it, but what if it's over there?
Right.
Still
Yeah.
Then I start yelling,
exactly.
send me that.
And then if it's over there, you can't hear them.
We
because
will
they're way
do
over
that.
there.
And then it's gonna get very verbal and loud and.
So we're gonna get a quicker start. We're all gonna sort. You're gonna push
You
the
pick
sort
up your-
down.
what you need.
You guys are gonna be the connectors, and we're still gonna do. Then we're gonna. By this point, we're gonna do the suits.
Okay.
So we're getting a quicker start.
You guys are still doing blacks and reds.
Yeah. Initially, because we get a quicker start, all of us, they're going to sort for the colors. They're going to push the colors over here. We're going to sort the suits, and then they're going to rank them. So the biggest thing is we're quicking in 2 areas.
What I would like to see.
I push red that side and black.
No, this
red
side.
is
Push
red.
down. This side.
Push the red down.
The important thing is the people at the very end start pulling in the cards that you can start to do the sort.
Right.
Can I propose that we don't
where
push?
is the delay?
We pull
Yeah,
cards.
pull.
You guys pull cards out.
Yeah.
And then you pull cards over.
Yeah. To you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Get it? So
And
ready?
we should also worry about where we're throwing the cards. Yeah.
Right. We are going to pull them. You pull.
You pull. Okay.
And then the arrows still go in the middle.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything
30
else?
seconds left. 30 seconds.
And make sure it's up. I know
Yes,
they're
yes, yes.
some of the gonna be all over.
Yeah.
We'll be pulling for sweets.
I'll throw.
Thanks. You're ready?
Low to the ground.
We'll be pulling for sweets, right?
Pull for sweets and sort.
15 seconds left.
Go. You should move them.
I have an issue. What happens if
Some of them are gonna
10
be
seconds.
okay for some.
We'll try.
Try something new. Try something new. Go.
Are you ready to begin run number 6?
Right.
Okay.
Y'all ready?
This will be the last one that we do because then we'll have time for our debrief.
Okay.
Ready, set, go.
Whoa.
Okay, claps, 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 stay, claps,
Yep. Okay, there's an error.
Good one. 7, 5, yeah, 8.
Why is everybody doing
Pick. What do you mean? Yeah. 8, 9, 8, 9. Okay, I got an 8. I got a 9. I got a 9. I got a 10. I got a J. Q. K.
Check them.
8. I needed 7.
One
7.
error.
6. Yeah, 7.
That's right.
Okay, got it. Error. Here.
No, we're
Nope.
good. Okay,
Is it
done.
error?
done?
No.
Ah!
As soon as I heard Mike say done, I pushed the button.
Oh!
What?
What reading did you have?
As soon as I heard Mike say done, I
Yeah,
pushed
I
the
was-
button. I don't know if he went fast because I heard a lot of activity after I heard you say it, but I've got 1 minute.
Just talk.
Always Mike couldn't stand up.
No, we need debrief. Got more checked cards?
Not anymore.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So as far as we got, okay. Here's what I'll do. I want to put them in. Okay.
Switch 2 ways.
I just wait to see those. Just catch a corner, like the first one, catch a corner, and then all flip over.
Operation point of view, right? So there was this table having their strategy, that table. You guys shared the ideas and it came to some mutual thing, but there was that, you know, in an ideal sense, that you could then go change the seats around. You had unlimited time and they wanted to keep at this. I don't know
You
why
said we
you
wanted to
wouldn't.
try that.
This is the first time I've run the exercise where there was 2 distinct tables. Before, I've always usually looked for places where you had the long tables and you could arrange them together. And it's not a coincidence, I don't think, that this is the first time that the team viewed themselves as 2 teams. You can't see this because you haven't been to the other rounds, but I'm really noticing that it seems like taking the default furniture arrangement somehow
Created that container.
And not only the mind that you're 2 different teams.
And not only that, when we went to the floor and we didn't have 2 tables, we still operated as 2 separate teams.
Wow! I would say, first off, you said,
You had the idea to go to the long table.
no, can't do it, it's no chance. What's on the floor? It's not going to work.
We didn't have a long table.
Well,
There are some in the space, but I'm not sure how free we are to.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. We could check. But then when I'm down the floor, well, I wasn't really sure about, it was really good to have the reds on this side and the blacks on this side. I'm thinking maybe we should have a cross.
I was going to say this way, yeah.
Yeah, and everything. I don't remember that up at one point or whatever.
I don't think you did.
I don't think I did.
You didn't.
I
Because that
was
would have been
thinking that.
interesting to try that.
That's here. After they came back.
And it was sort of their program.
Thinking about it,
The division.
The division also, right from the get-go, I said I'm going to cut the cards in half and give you yours. And bam, that was yours and ours. Right.
Because it started out this way.
Yeah.
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 The Reds, oh, the
That would change. That would have been the equivalent. You're no longer considered a coder on the jogger team. You're now on this other team, and you're like, oh, I don't know why they're doing this to me. You know?
I have a question I'd like to ask your opinion about. My feeling was that at the point where I tell the team what the record is, normally, well, at least often, it has made people, will do a run, they'll do the best they can. This is sort of a level setting run, right? You get a sense of capacity. And then when people hear about this, it's usually radically faster than what they did on their first time, even if their first time looks pretty good compared to their own estimate, right? Because you were very happy the first run, remember? You were all high-fiving before. What I noticed that it did not make you radically reconsider your approach. You basically...
No, I think we did try, but we couldn't, I think it did make us think about that. That's what the distinction between the 26 seconds and that. But we didn't come up with some. We didn't execute.
Situational
So
impact.
my question to you is, do you my opinion, and maybe this is wrong, but part of my reason for wanting people to know of a prior record is, it's like in the real world, if you measure your output, your function points per developer hour or something, your management measures it on you. Once you get some sight of any of your own statistics, your bug density, your throughput rate, anything. Of course, the next thing you want to know is, well, what does that mean, right? How are we compared to the rest of the universe? And so I'm thinking that if and when you discover the rest of the universe is way different than you, either way faster or slower, well, let's say they're way faster, they're in some condition you want to be in. My hunch is that it should prompt you to radically rethink what you're doing, right? Radically question it and be willing to try bigger changes than you would have if you didn't know of this. And I'm curious why you felt that the same methods would just get you there if you used them more carefully. That seemed to be what you did.
At the end at 6, we did try to change it a little bit.
It's
not really radical, but it was
but I mean...
That was based on her telling us.
The question is, no, but I hear what you're saying. At the same time, I think that we did try to look at it, but no one came up with anything.
Well, make that note.
Between,
we did.
When you introduced the 26 seconds, that's when you went to the floor. That's when
No.
That's when we changed.
The fourth run. This is when you did.
Okay, so that's when you went. Because to answer the question, did that extra information from an external team make us think? Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
We all wanted
did try
to
something
see
different.
how we can how we can improve, right? We continue to look for improvements. Now we did not deliver. We did not achieve the radical improvements. So that's actually what I'm curious about.
And I don't know if I'm the only one, but I kept thinking that 26 is just something she made up. I was very suspicious of the 26.
So right away you didn't trust me.
But I didn't even before.
Cards.
After that card
I thought that was part of the game where you say something like.
I didn't do the cards till here, and she's telling me she didn't trust me way up here.
Yeah, no, I feel bad.
Like the 26. She didn't trust you at the 26. You didn't say the 26 the first time around.
Right.
Not the first time. After the first run,
Even if it's 26.
it's part of how I run this.
Even if it's a 26.
After this one, I told you about it.
Yes, so
here's where you decided to shift. This is where you make your biggest shifts. So you tried a couple more.
The 131 was the first card screw up. The error cards, right?
And
5 of them.
I was wondering with that, because after that you were prepared for variances.
Right, exactly, and we handled them.
Yeah.
And what was the difference between that first time when it was completely unexpected and after that when you were expecting some? What was?
Well, we were expecting, but the one after was the missing 9 of diamonds, and we weren't expecting a missing card, so we were double checking and triple checking.
Exactly.
And that took us time.
Yeah.
We would have been under a minute. That
But
would
you know,
be
honestly,
missing card.
To me, because there was a time box element, I would have clarified the 26 seconds further. I would have asked you the conditions those 26 seconds were under. I would have asked you how many decks. I would have asked you how many people. But we didn't have time. So I didn't bog down the team.
Very much same situation, just different shape.
But I didn't get the opportunity.
Oh, I
purposely chose not to ask further questions about
that.
that. Well, I didn't want to take up the time of the team.
I assume she won't tell us till the end.
That's what I thought too.
Because she wants us to come up with the idea.
So the thing is, I did
other ideas.